So everyone just open Jupyter Notebook first. Once you open Jupyter Notebook, create a new Python file. Create a new Python file. Let me just rename the file to as lab program 6. Let us see what exactly is the lab program 6. So what we are supposed to do here is we need to develop a program, Python program, to sort the contents of a text file and write the sorted contents in a separate file. So we have two files, one is an input file, other is an output file. So there are contents present in input file. What you are supposed to do is whatever contents which are present in input file, you are supposed to copy all those contents from the input file, read all the contents, sort all those contents. Once you sort all those contents, copy all those sorted contents in a new file. Let's see how to do it. So let me just mark down this. First, let me create an input file. So before you try to open an input file using open command here, you need to first create an input file. So go back here, go back to home page. You can create your input file and output file in any location. Let us only create wherever we are saving the program, the same location will create the input file. So to create an input file, we'll create an input text file. So create a text file. Once you create it, just let us rename this particular text file as test.txt. Just click here and just rename it as test.txt. So don't replace this text txt. Just let me just replace this with test.txt. So what we are supposed to do is we need to read the contents present in this particular file and sort those contents and copy paste those contents in a new file. So your new file should contain whatever content is there here. The new file should contain the contents which are present here only, but it should be sorted. So this is the content. Let me just save it. So before you use it, better you save it. Control S. You press it and make sure you get a message here a few seconds ago. Okay. So once you're done, let me just read the input file. Open the input file. So let me just open the input file by using open function. And let me just put the input file in a string. What does the file mean? This test.txt. Now, once you open it, let us save this input file in a variable called i5. So we have opened the input file. Let's just check what output we are getting. We open the input file. Let me just try to print that input file. So if I execute this, you can see the input file is open now, and it has opened in by default in read mode. Now, so along with the input file, let us even create the output file, and we'll store that output file in a variable called O file. And let us open that output file also by using open command. And let me give the file output file name as output.txt. We are not creating the output file. So what Python will do is it automatically creates the output, or it automatically creates the file if it is not present. So let us open this output file in write mode. So why we are doing it in opening it in write mode? So that we can update the contents in this output file. If you don't open it in write mode, if you just open it in read mode, you cannot update the contents in that output file. Let me open it in write mode. As we have discussed, there are three different modes to open a file. One is read mode, write mode, and append mode. So in read mode, you can only read the file. Write mode, you can update the file. Append mode, you can append the file. I'll tell you the difference between write and append later on at the end of this particular program. Now, I have created the output file. Once I've created the output file, let us read the contents present in the input file. To read the contents present in the input file, what we have to do is, I have to first call the variable where the input file is stored, which is stored in a variable called I file. And let me just use read command. Okay, and let me just store that entire contents in a variable called sentence. Let's check whether we are able to read the contents present in the input file or not, just by just printing the sentence. So you can clearly see now we are able to read the contents which are present in the input file. So this is the content which is present in the input file. Now what we are supposed to do is, now whatever this particular sentence, it's just a single string. Now what we need to do is, we need to take all these contents present in this input file, split each and every word, then sort that content. Once we sort it, we need to update that sorted content in a new file. Let me just remove this. So we are able to read it. Once we are done, let us create a list of each and every word present in that file. So this sentence is a single string. Whatever you have, this is just a single string. So let us split each and every word by using a string method called split. So what will this do is, it will create a list of, sorry, which is that your string is a sentence. On the sentence, we are applying a split method, and we are storing this in a variable called words. Okay, splitting each and every word in this particular string. Develop will be one item in a list. A will be another item in a list. By default, split method will take space as the separator. You can see there is a space in between. It will take space as a separator. If I just press a shift tab here, you can clearly see here, by default, separator is none. So what Python will take is, it takes space as a separator. I can even specify other values as separator. Now, let us try to print the words and check whether we are able to get a list of words or not, which are present in a file, just by using print statement, print words. We just execute this. So you can clearly see that we are getting a list of the contents which are in a list. What we did, we first created an input file. So to create an input file, we went here, created an input file called text.txt. We added the contents, the input file, then we opened it, the input file, and stored it in a variable called I file. After that, we created our output file, opened that output file, and we opened that output file in write mode and stored it in a variable called O file. So after this, we need to read the contents present in the input file. To read the contents present in input file, what we are supposed to, we need to use dot read method. So I file, is the input file dot read. We are reading the content present in input file and we are storing those contents in a variable called sentence. Now, this sentence is a single string. We need to extract each and every word of that particular string and store it in a list. So to do it, we need to use split method, sentence dot split. So what this will do is we split each and every word of this particular string, which is present in a variable called sentence, and we are storing that in a variable called words. So now we are able to extract after this. So what is asked in the question here? Write and sorted contents. We need to sort this particular list. We have learned different list methods. If I just use words dot sort method, only this much. After that, in the next line, I'll just try to print words. So this is print words. It is before sorting the contents. This print words after sorting the contents. So just differentiate between the previous one and the next one. Let me just use a slash n so that there is a new line separating between this one and this one. If I execute this, you can see you'll get two different lists. One is the previous one without getting sorted. You can see niche first item is developed, second item is A program, and so on. Here after sorting it, so develop is the first item in the list, use is second item, then this one, and so on. Okay. So what Python will do is, if I just try to check, you can see capital D is always smaller. Okay. Then comes small letters. If I want to check, I need to check the ASCII code for each character to check it. Okay. If I just write character of 65, if I execute this, you can clearly see 65 is the code, which is ASCII code, which is assigned to a alphabet A, capital alphabet. Okay. So because this number is smaller, so smaller numbers come first. Then sorry, this number is capital. So capital numbers come first, then comes smaller numbers. If I write character of 65, you can see you'll get capital A. If I write 66, you'll get capital B. Okay. If I write 97, you will get small a. Okay. So small a is bigger than capital A. Let me just use a for loop for I in range just to see what each and every character is assigned to which number, which ASCII code. For I in range 65 to 120. Let me just print a statement. This is not a program, just to show you. So capital letters are smaller than small letters with respect to Python. Let me just print the character first. Character of I, then a string equal to, then after followed by the number. If I just execute this, so every time when the for loop is run for the first time, I is 65, okay, character of 65 is capital A, and so on. It keeps on running till I is 119. If I just execute this, you can clearly see A is equal to 65, capital A is 65, capital B is 66, and so on. So after capital Z, okay, before small a, you have this opening square bracket, then slash, then closing square brackets, then cap you have, then you have other symbols. After that you have small letters. Now that we have sorted the contents, okay, let me just remove this. We don't require this, only we require the final output. So once we sorted, this is the output what you get. Okay, but that is not our final output. Our final output should be the output file where this particular content is there separated by space. Each and every word is separated by space. So to do it, we need to use for loop for W. For each word, that is for W is a variable for each word in words. We need to take each and every word from this particular list and append that, add those values in output file. Okay, for each and every word. So what is the output file given as? O file. So here we need to use a method called write method. Then W is, so when the for loop is running for the first time, W is develop. So we are updating that develop in the output file using write method. Okay. Then we have string concatenation so that we can just add space. We need to add space, or else if you don't add this space, you can clearly see what will happen now. If I just execute this, once you open it, most program is done. You have to close the output file by using dot close method. So this concludes your program. So let me just execute this. Now you can clearly see the program is run and it has given this as output. But this is not the actual output. You're supposed to come back here, come back to home page. You can see we have not created the output file. The output file automatically will get created whatever the file name you have given there. You can clearly see here. If I just open it, you have sorted contents. You can see there is no space between each and every word. So that now we need to add a space here. If I don't add space, you won't get a space there. We are doing string concatenation. Okay. If I execute this again, okay, you'll get the same output. If I come back here, if I just refresh it like normal as you refresh your web page, you can clearly see the output file will get updated. You have a space here. Okay. So this is what is your program. What we did, we created a first text file, test file, input file. We just added some contents in that input file. After that, we opened that particular file and stored it in a variable called live file. Then we created an output file, opened that output file, and that output file was opened in write mode. Correct. After that, that particular was stored in a variable called o file. Then in this line of code, we are reading the contents present in this input file, ifile.read, and storing those contents in the form of string. It gets stored in the form of string, and we are storing it in a variable called sentence. Then by using this, we are splitting each and every word in that particular string by using dot split method, a string method. Okay, it creates a list of all the words, and we are storing it in a variable called words. So after this, I'll use this words dot sort. What will this do is it will sort the contents based on this, right? Based on this, small to big. Okay. Once we sort it, we need to fetch each and every word. Develop first, then use, hint, and so on by using for loop. One by one, we'll take it and write those files. Okay, we'll write those files in the output file. O file dot write. So when the loop is running for the first time, W is develop plus space. Second times it is use plus space. Third time this particular string plus space and so on. Okay, that's what the output you will get here. You can clearly see. Okay, develop, use, hint. You can see there is a space. Okay, now let me just tell you the difference between append method and write method. Okay, now what will happen to this write method is, now if I just replace the content present in this particular file. Okay, let me just replace this. Okay, and if I save it, okay, make sure you get a message here a few seconds ago. If I run this file again, if I run this cell again, you can see this is the output. Other values are gone. If I come back here to output file, if I just refresh this, you can see the previous content was gone. The new content was updated here. But what I want is I want the previous content also. So to do that, you are supposed to use open the output file in append mode. So just replace this with A. Just replace this with A. Okay. Once I replace this with A, now what I'll do is, now just concentrate here. you have this content already in the output file. I also want to keep this also. I want to update this also. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just replace this. Okay. The content from the input file. I'll just add Python programming is very, instead of that, has a very simple syntax. Okay, this is what I've updated. Let me just save this. Make sure you get a message here, or else your file will not get updated. Now run this cell again. Okay. Once you run it, just check. Now you can see the output. Now if I just come back here to the output file, if I just refresh this, you can see the previous content also will be there. Even the new content also will be there. So you might have learned append method with respect to rest. What does append method do? You can see. So after this, you can see this gets added. Okay, this gets added. So previous content is also there. Okay, and the new content is also there. What is this doing? It is appending the content in the same file at the end of the previous content. Same as what we do it by using append method with respect to list. Okay, if I just use append method, what will that do? Append method will do, it will just append a value whatever you have specified to the end of a list. Okay, so this is a simple program, just few lines of code.